Just imagine how this must feel. Hours old, and these 8 tiny puppies were dumped in a litter bin in Queensferry and left to die. Cold, hungry, no sign of their mother, their whimpering was heard by some children.
They were absolutely tiny when they were first picked up. They still had their umbilical cords attached. They needed feeding roughly every 2 hours round the clock. But miraculously they thrived. They did really, really well.
How long they've been in there we don't know, but obviously if they'd have been in there any longer without being found, then they certainly could have died. Well, it's just so unnecessary. Very often the RSPCA comes along, we have to pick up the pieces, but they shouldn't have been there in the first place.
The puppies were brought here to the RSPCA Centre at Brynner Mine, where they were looked after by 2 carers. Every year, RSPCA inspectors have to bring in hundreds of rescued animals to this centre. Many of them have been abandoned, neglected or cruelly treated. So what happened to those 8 little puppies? You'll find out later. In 2015, more than 7,500 animals were collected and rescued in Wales. RSPCA inspectors, animal welfare officers, animal collection officers and market inspectors respond to emergencies around the clock, rescuing animals from danger 24/7. Inspectors will investigate complaints of alleged cruelty, and in most cases the welfare of animals is improved by advice and education. Unfortunately, there remain occasions when prosecution is necessary. When asked in a poll commissioned by RSPCA Cymru on the areas where the RSPCA should focus its work in Wales, 70% said investigating animal cruelty, and 65% said prosecuting animal welfare offences.
We get all sorts of calls. It may be rescuing or collecting sick and injured animals that are either domestic or wild, as well as complaints that we have to investigate about allegations of a variety of potential cruelty to animals.
These inspectors have been called to check on the welfare of some horses whose owner is unknown.
Today we've got in the far distance behind the field of cows, there's a number of fields of horses. We've had issues here for many years with fly grazing, and the legislation has come in that has helped to prevent that in previous years. We've got a situation here where they are returning to the area, and we're monitoring them very closely, and we get a lot of calls along with the local authority to some of them that may be sick or injured, and we're here today to check on them and find out what the situation is today.
Well, I simply can't believe that it's 10 years since I came along to this RSPCA clinic here in Merthyr Tydfil to officially open it. And it's just lovely to come back and see that they've microchipped more than 2,000 animals, like this little cat that's been involved in a road accident.
We do a lot of work for 2 main areas: the inspectorate, bringing through stray animals that they find, or injured animals that are brought to their attention by the public, and we do our best to make them better. There's also a lot of public-owned animal work where people bring their pets in if they have difficulty affording normal veterinary treatment. Over the last 10 years we've seen over 23,000 animals through the clinic, done almost 10,000 operations, with about 6,000 of those being neuterings, cats and dogs, and almost 2,000 microchips. It's always a great help. We advise any animals to be microchipped. Cats, dogs or any other smaller or even larger animals.
This is Busy. She's been waiting nearly a year for the right person to come along and provide her with her forever home, like so many other rescue animals in the RSPCA's care. Despite her loving nature, she has sadly been overlooked time and time again. When the right person does come along, strict procedures will make sure it's a perfect match.
And what we do here is we look to rehome rescue animals from our inspectorate. So basically, as they come into our centre, we look to see if they're fit and healthy to be rehomed, whether that be medically or if there's any behavioural concerns as well. And sometimes it can take us quite a while to look to get these animals fit and healthy before they can be rehomed again.
Last month, school children from across Wales took part in RSPCA Cymru's Animal Welfare The Great Debate, now an annual event, and discussed whose responsibility is animal welfare?
What we're here today to think about the compassion and caring that we should be holding for animals.
How are you feeling today? Happy, warm, hydrated? How about your pets? Have you made sure that your pets are looked after while you are here today? When you get a pet, it is as if you are signing an invisible contract.
In the poll, 75% of the public in Wales believe that children should be taught about animal welfare from a young age.
Simply cannot be added to a never-ending to-do list. We need to start treating animal welfare seriously.
Animal welfare is one of the most important things that this country has.
I've learned so much about politics and how important animal welfare is to Welsh people.
Oh, it's fantastic because these young people are going to be the adults of tomorrow, and these are taking animal welfare forward into the future, so it's wonderful.
And lots of youngsters flocked to Butte Park in May for Cardiff's Big Walkies. 500 dogs with their families took part. A fun way to learn more about the RSPCA, animal welfare, and also to raise money for the charity. RSPCA officers have to be trained to cope with all kinds of emergencies. In April, Exercise Polygon, the largest multi-agency exercise of its kind in Wales this year, tested their capability to respond and manage a major flooding event. RSPCA Cymru mobilised a specialist animal rescue team and took part in real-life flooding scenarios in Newport and Cardiff. At the River Usk, the RSPCA Animal Rescue Team worked hand in hand with the fire service to deal with a mock scenario of a horse and rider trapped in the mud. This operation highlights just how many agencies and rescue teams the RSPCA has to work with. This is all about teamwork. It also highlights the potential risks they face every day.
The water rescue, I believe, is one of the most dangerous activities and specialisms that the RSPCA does.
And of course you're dealing with an animal in distress when this happens in real life.
Certainly it is, which is why we have to have the cooperation of the veterinary service as well to sedate the animal in order for us to rescue it from whatever incident it's got itself into. Your first thing, obviously, is if it's as we had today with a rider involved, you have to think of the rider to get the rider away from the danger area, and then you sort the horse out. And obviously, with then our concerns are for the horse and to get the horse out in one piece.
So today, as a fire service, we've worked really closely with the RSPCA, something we don't do and train very often with. Only a real incident, so it's really important for us, for agency working, that we carry out exercises like this.
Another successful day. But what about those puppies we saw earlier, which were dumped in a litter bin? They were all rehomed, and a few weeks ago we got most of them back for a very energetic reunion. Not every day is as happy as this for the inspectors and officers who deal daily with cruelty and neglect. But thanks to them, every year thousands of animals in Wales go on to live healthy and happy lives.